Okay, yeah. So, hi everyone. I used to be a German combat diver, or at least that's what the German term for it is. If you look at like the US, it's Navy SEAL basically. That's the part. It's Navy Special Forces. That's also the name for the German one. We call it KSM, and it's Commando Special Forces Navy. Yeah, that's what I used to do at least.
I guess my first question is, how the hell do you get a job like that?
At least for me, it was at least pretty obvious that I wanted to do at least some time in the military. My grandfather served in the Navy. He was on a ship that did mine clearing. Basically, it's like a wooden boat, so like the mines that go after metal wouldn't detect it, and it has like a big shear, like scissors in front of it. Just kind of drives around and diffuses mines. At least that's what he told me. It was never like technology that I had to deal with, luckily. So that's like what he did. And I always kind of liked the military. Like I grew up playing like at least some video games, so I was pretty intrigued. I'm still like doing that. That's like at least how I found you as well. And I thought about like, well, what should you do? And I at the time at least I didn't really care about like the Air Force because I always thought like I want to do something like real. Not that the Air Force isn't something real. Yeah, no, it's a little bit of bickering between like the branches. Everybody hates everybody. So the choices were either Army or Navy that I thought about, and then the Navy had, at least at the time, the SEKM. So that was the Special Operations Command Navy. They also have it for like the normal forces and everything. And in that category, there were different, like I guess you could call it classes. You had some EODs that would do underwater mine defusal, which is really hard, and so in Germany it's called Minentaucher, which just stands for like mine divers basically. And you had people that would drive boats and stuff, and you had basically some more specialized forces that were doing boarding operations. In Germany, you can do 6 months to up to I think 2 years is the limit. You can do a duty basically that's like to this time, and it's kind of like a test trial, if you want to call it. You do the basic training part, and then you do some more stuff. And then I started out with that, and then I kind of found out about the whole like boarding party thing, and that really like caught my eye because it was specialized forces, but it wasn't really special forces, and like the selection process was obviously like a lot tougher than basic training, but it was not as, at least at the time, seemed so impossible as like special forces selection. That is like incredible, and like the hardest of the hard. And some people say, I remember, I don't know who it was that said it, but it was like a selection process for the Navy divers and the Combat Special Forces thing. They said that it was one of the hardest things you could do to young men in the democracy. So it was like that was like the view I had of everything, and I was like, yeah, I'm probably not going to get that. So I did like the next best thing, and I got into the boarding party. Did my training there, stayed there for some time. Then there is this like selection process for special forces, because I had like some encounters with them, because specialized forces do a lot of work with special forces. We mostly did like what we trained for was the boarding party stuff was anti-piracy operations. Pirates were a really big problem at the coast of like Africa, the other side of Africa as well, because what ends up happening is a lot of like container ships drive really close to the coast. The pirates drive out, and then they get stopped by these. They get boarded, and they get either taken hostage or something, or they steal something. And if they take them hostage, they drive the boat, the container ship, into shallow water, drop the anchor, and then they wait for like money, so they let the people go. That's obviously not very good for business, and the people are scared. So there was a big scale operation from like a lot of nations that were doing something against this. And that's like how I got into it. And before I go any further, if you're keeping up with this guy right here, he's had some problems with like let's say the military in general, because they seem to hate fun.
I've pissed off all three major global superpowers now. I made a video about Ukraine that pissed off Russia. I made a video about China, and I made a video about the U.S. Navy, and they threatened someone. So
Yeah. So what I'm saying here is, we're going to talk about all of this stuff. I'm going to tell you what I think. This is all like public information. If you do a little bit of digging, you're going to find out about it. This is just my point of view. If the German government still has a problem with this, I made it all up. None of it is real. I am a figment of your imagination. I am just going to talk to you for some time. This is it. This is none of it's real. I made it up.
you hear something? I
just
don't
kidding.
hear
Yeah,
anything.
no, exactly. Yeah, this guy gets it. So let's phrase it like this. I'm going to talk to you about the KSM as if someone was in there and was talking from experience.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It makes sense to me in my head.
Yeah,
So,
he's an NPC in VR chat though. Like obviously,
yeah,
he's just
exactly.
an AI.
I'm ChatGPT.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So what ends up happening, like I talked about with these container ships, they drive out there and they board these ships, and they do that with these skiffs, they're called, and those are like long wooden ships that have a motor at the end of it that has a like a lot of horsepower, so they're very fast, like 100 kilometers an hour. So you kind of have to be clever about it. And for example, you have helicopters that are also on these ships, and they get started, and they have some of the boarding party people in there, and they provide like overwatch, and they send forward so they can like get a situational overview and stuff like this. Well, what ended up happening in one of those cases is a helicopter got to an area where some skiffs were driving around. They were told basically that they're going to get arrested, and the frigate got there and everything, and it was crazy, and it was like.
Guten Tag, everyone. My name is Azil, and I am very much not German. The video you're watching right now had to be cut due to worries about the German government getting pissed at our guest, which is unfortunate. However, he did agree to let me put the best part of this story onto my Patreon at patreon.com/azilvr. If you would like to go there, for $1 a month, you can get access to this video along with some other exclusives, my Discord server, which is only available for patrons, and, depending on the tier, you can join a party I host twice a month, or even come to a recording as a live audience member. So, if you want to go there and check out the awesome pirate story, go ahead, and then come back to this video once you're done with that. Or, if you'd like to continue watching, you are missing a bit, but there is still a cohesive story here. Enjoy!
These are teenagers, man. So it's like I don't know how old they are, but it's like in that part of the world, it's like you don't really have options. That's the problem. So they're like, yeah, obviously all of them panic basically instantly, because like I said, in that instant it instantly becomes real. So if you're like, even they're like, yeah, they're pointing guns at us, and there's like people over here and we get caught. Yeah, maybe they arrest us, maybe they throw us in prison, yeah, whatever. But I don't think they really like thought that they could die.
Was that death the first time that you saw one on the job?
Yeah, on the job, yeah. Like I'd seen like an accident before that where I think someone died, or at least he looked like he was, they drove him off in an ambulance, but it was like I saw the wreck and everything, and I was like, I'm not too sure about that one. But it's like the first time seeing something like that, yeah.
Yeah, like it sounds so visceral, like
yeah. It's not pretty. That's
yeah,
the thing.
like a high caliber bullet, just like you said, it didn't just kill, it tore. It ripped him apart.
That's the problem. Yeah, it breaks everything. That's the thing. Yeah, it's like you could also hear like with a CPR, you could hear like the cracking of like something's broken in there. So it's like, yeah, no, it's like it's not like this clean thing like gets shot, falls over, a little bit of blood, and you're good. So sadly not.
How many operations did you actually do? How many moments were there where you were in action?
This is a difficult thing, because this is like some of the stuff I can't really talk about, because all of the special forces operations with the KSM are classified. The KSM doesn't obviously only do like operations. We do a lot more things. For example, we do training for foreign troops. So you're like a teacher in a host country, and you basically you talk to other people and you train them, and you give the like stuff to them, and those are like some of the stuff where you know where the KSM was, but everything else is like is classified. So I can't really talk about that. Sorry.
Yeah, of course. So the training with people in other countries, would that be like, for instance, SEALs?
Yeah, that's a good segue. Yeah, for example, you like I said, Special Forces has a lot of like training steps to it as well. You're learning basically everything there is to know about a lot of things. And for example, when the KSM was first founded, which was back when the DDR was still a thing, there was a lot of exchange. For example, with SEAL team, paratrooping, so jump school and stuff. You need to do a certain amount of jumps in a certain amount of time to keep your qualifications to train up for something else. So it's a lot of exchange. But in general, if you look at like the training thing, you have a selection phase basically, then you have a training phase. There's a split up, and the selection is a couple of days long. And you have a 5-kilometer run that you do in 22 minutes. You have a 1-kilometer swim that you do in 25 minutes. You do like some jumping from a higher tower, like a jumping board with like weights on your shoulder. Dive in the water. You go down to the bottom. You pick the weights of your shoulders. You put them on the back of your legs. Then you pull your jacket off. Basically, you roll it up, you put it around your neck, and then you put the weights back on your neck, and then you walk on the bottom to the ladder, you climb up the ladder, and then you basically get up. You don't like, you shouldn't grasp for air, they don't like seeing that. You should just breathe out, and then you're going to give them the UK sign. Then that's like another thing that they do, which is like, looks very impressive if you've never seen it before.
Other than underwater training, what's the other intense stuff that you have to go through to get your job?
Oh yeah, so basically these are like I said, the basic qualifications that you need to go through. Where you kind of where you pass like the first few days, and then it is a pretty intense like couple months until you are like fully accepted into a team, basically, until to train further. But before that, you're kind of like you're not as in training as you're going to be after. So these 4 months, they kind of like weed out the people that they don't think can like push for the whole training. Then they do the other stuff. So I think it's 14, 15 weeks, and those 14 weeks are extremely tough. The toughest thing probably is the last day of these 14 weeks, because you do a 30-kilometer swim in 2 days in the open sea.
Oh my
And
God.
so you're in the water for something between 11 and 13 hours a day, swimming in the open sea while dragging a bag at your ankle behind you with like equipment and stuff on it. You have a wetsuit on, obviously, otherwise we'd just probably die.
Yeah.
It's tough, yeah. In general, it is 16 months of training, and then you're a combat diver in these 16 months.
Like within the Navy, were you guys kind of like superstars?
I wouldn't say that. Most people probably hate our guts for one simple reason. I think we do a pretty good job, but the problem is if you get on a frigate, for example, and you arrive there, they kill the Wi-Fi and they kill all the communication that is non-essential to the outside,
Oh.
because they do not want anyone to know we're there. So if you're like writing an email to your wife that is upset about you and we get on board, that shit is not going out anytime soon. So
You guys just have a dark cloud around you at all times.
yeah, it's like we cut off any communications where we get. Yeah, it's like nothing's getting out of here. I get it. It sucks. It doesn't seem fair. I totally get it if you're if you are in the Navy in Germany. Sorry. Fridays are basically the worst part in training because you do something that's basically a Friday run, which is not giving it enough credit because it is basically you run from one place to another where you get fucked over. You do a bunch of bullshit that obviously trains you very well, but everyone hates it. For example, like one of the classic things is like a berm that goes down like a hill thingy, and you're like lying on top, and they have, for example, a ball with them, like a football, and it's like, okay, now crawl up and down the thing, or if you fuck up, then they toss the ball down and be like, okay, run down, get it, or for example, like roll down the hill and then climb back up. Or another thing that they like to do is if you fuck up, it's like, okay, number 4, now you from the bottom go back up with like number 6 on your shoulders and stuff like that. And they like to like get in the mud or get in like the pond and camouflage yourself, like put just dirt all over yourself and mud and stuff, and just get in there. And they really make those like hours last, and you have no real idea when it's going to be over. And it's like, since it's 14 weeks, you get to do it a bunch of times.
Oh boy.
And it's like, it's always Friday, and you're like, yes, can't wait to do it. And they always they figure something out to change it up.
Yeah.
Because it's such a specialty kind of job and everything. When you're doing it, like a lot of like how you think of standard deployments is that you're there for a certain amount of time and then you come back. But are you kind of in a sense on call all the
Yeah.
time, or are there enough people that you have like sort of shifts to it?
That is a really good question. Thanks for asking that. You are kind of always on call. Obviously, there are rotations for sleep and stuff, and you can get leave, and there are enough people for that. If you're on deployment, you're obviously already on call every time. A lot of things we train for is like rescue of German citizens outside of German borders. So let's say some sailors from Germany decide it's a good idea to sail right into like really close to the shore somewhere, and they get captured, or like their boat gets stolen and they get like put into some other Middle Eastern or African country where we need to rescue them because they're being held hostage. Negotiations don't really work out, and there's like no other real option here. We're gonna need force. We're gonna need to go in there, and we're gonna need to get them. So if like something like that develops, obviously they're gonna call us and they're gonna be like, hey, this is maritime based, and then you're on call, basically. If there's a good reason you can't go, they're probably gonna respect it. But it might be bad timing. The thing comes in, you rush out, you hit your knee somewhere on like your counter, and you break something, or you like tear something, or it's just you can't really work. Then that obviously is like a different story. But otherwise, yeah, you're kind of on call.
Like, I'm on vacation isn't a good reason.
If German citizens get captured and hold hostage, no, that is sadly not a good reason. It's like I didn't really feel like getting out of bed today is sadly not an option. Yeah.
Like, you are one of like 300 people in our entire country that knows how to do this. Please get your ass out of bed. We need your help.
How do they pick out of those 300? Like, who gets to just, now it's your job, you go deal with this?
There are specializations in there, obviously, but there are different teams as well, and you obviously want to get people that have been working together for some time. At the end of the day, it's a decision of the higher-ups. If they need, like, for example, let's say like it's a job that requires entry into something that's reinforced, they're going to get someone that is good at demolitions, for example, that has a lot of time in that field. Yeah, but it's like that's a good thing you brought it up, because there are like assisting units as well. Let's say, for example, if you get like wounded in the field, then you're already like in a pretty hot zone, I'd say. What they kind of need to do is they're gonna need to treat you. So they have like these vehicles and these people that are trained to do just that. So they have like equipment and bags that are basically like for surgery on the spot. They can do it in a helicopter. They can do it in the back of a van. They can prepare operations. They can do some operations in there as well, and they are like real lifesavers. So it's the special operations medical support team. If you still want to be like mainly a medic, but still want to do like special operations and like special operations support, that's where you go. That's like also a great thing, yeah. Mm-hmm. And they're like some people that really do not get enough recognition for what they do.
Yeah, like in general, what do you think is the most important thing for people to know if this is something they have their heart set on getting into?
Oh, you mean what should I do before I apply for it?
Yeah.
So it's a physical job, right? You need to know that. What I did before this is I always have been diving. I've been diving for a pretty long time before this, and I did a bunch of sport before that as well, but that was more like a general thing, general fitness. I would say that the mental part is way more important than the physical part, because you can ignore pain to a certain amount and just keep going, just keep training. Don't let them tell you no, basically. Just keep trying. If you don't make it the first time or the second time, just keep trying, keep doing, keep getting better, keep improving yourself. It's not the point to compare yourself to anyone else. It's the point is to compare yourself to past yourself. If you keep getting better, I'm sure you can make it in somewhere where you're gonna like it and where you can do like whatever you want to do. I'm pretty positive about that. So and there are a lot of guides that you can look up if you like want to look at the exact exercises. A lot of people have like written books about it. If you just Google it, you're probably gonna find some about those. Just keep doing those exercises out of there. Obviously, don't like try and like cheat the system by just doing those exercises, because then you're probably gonna fall flat because they don't tell you everything. I mean, what's the point then? So diving, if you can do that, I mean, not everyone has access to a lake and diving equipment and stuff. If you can train that before, that's good. Otherwise, martial arts is pretty common. It's not that heavy of a focus, but it's like something, like I said, mental thing, physical thing altogether. One of the mottos for the KSM. Oh, that's a fun thing. I'm going to say it in German, and I'm going to let you guess what it means. And then I'm going to tell you what it really means. In German, it is "Lerne zu leiden, ohne zu klagen."
Am I getting graded on this?
Yeah, there will be a test afterwards
Oh
on your
fuck!
German. Yeah, it is learn to suffer without complaining.
Damn.
Yeah, it's incredible. So yeah, that's something. If you can put your head in the right place, if you can do this, this is something that you should be doing. This is like pretty difficult to say, but don't really have a second plan. This is like obviously always have a backup plan. But if this is the thing you want to do, stick to it. Don't be like, oh, I'm going to try this, and if it doesn't work out, then whatever, I'm going to do something else. No, if this is what you want to do, fucking do it. Stick to it. Don't try to do anything else. If this is like your dream, don't give it up. Keep it up, and then you're gonna make it. Like all of the people that at least I know that made it through were like, oh, I'm gonna like only send it halfway, go all the way in, nothing else. And if you give your best, you're either gonna make it or you're gonna get the recognition and the experience to make it either the second time or to go somewhere else where it is also recognized that you give it your all. So like I said, always go all in. That doesn't even really matter if it's special forces. If your dream is to do anything, just always go full in. That's like don't give up. That's the main thing here.
Thanks everybody for watching. If you would like to talk to this man, he will be in the Discord server answering questions. You can just send him a ping in the Q&A chat, and he will hopefully answer your question if he can. And it's not classified.
Yeah, that's the next thing. Yeah, but I'll try my very best and keep it coming. Yeah.